Oh no! What what happened? I guess my survival hunter couldn't survive. Eh? Eh? All right, enough of that. That was terrible. What's going on, guys? So go back with another Dragonflight video. We're talking about Survival Hunter. Oh my god, I could not be more excited. This thing has been so much fun to play. I've been running around, got it leveled up, did a bunch of heroic dungeons. I've got a little bit of gear under my belt. Managed to do a Mythic +2 last night to make sure I had something in the vault for this week. Very excited to talk about Survival Hunter, and I'm just going to do kind of a general video talking about some really cool things in the talent trees, and I'll show you a little bit of the rotation, but this is not going to be a build guide or anything huge like that. I just want to go over how Survival Hunter has fared going from Shadowlands into Dragonflight, and what it's kind of looking like now. What are some cool synergies in the talent trees? What talents do we get to double up on that we didn't get to use before? Things like Butchery, which were locked behind other talents before, like better talents, like Guerrilla Tactics, for example, and you couldn't really ever take Butchery before. So we're going to talk about all that stuff in this video, and I'm going to show you a little bit of footage later from some of the damage that I did as well. So what are some of the new ideas in Dragonflight that were not in Shadowlands for Survival Hunter? Number one, Fury of the Eagle is back, and this was a Legion artifact weapon ability. It was so much fun to play with. It sucked big oranges. You know what I'm talking about. It really sucked when we lost this thing at the end of Legion. We had to hand our artifact weapons back, and we're like, no, please, we like these things. And BFA started, and then the whole world came crashing down. And anyway, like, it was awful, right? So it's back. It's better than ever. It has some amazing synergies with Wildfire Bomb and Kill Command. It's really fun. We'll talk about it in a minute. Spearhead is here. This is a brand new cooldown. It's primarily aimed at single target damage. We'll talk about that later as well, and I'm going to try to work on some builds this week that include Spearhead, so that'll be interesting. On top of that, this is kind of one of the only classes in the game, to my knowledge, that has two like major cooldowns in Coordinated Assault and Spearhead, and Coordinated Assault is different than it used to be in Shadowlands. It's a much different ability now. It doesn't just increase your damage by 20%. It has interactions with specific abilities in the tree. So that's interesting. Like, lots of classes have like iconic, you know, spells, right? Like major cooldowns, right? Like fire mages have combustion, right? Like, that's such an iconic ability to use. Fury Warriors have like recklessness. So, you know, that's the kind of idea. And Coordinated Assault was that, but now we also have Spearhead. So it's interesting that there's two of them, and we're going to have to see how that kind of works with the new Survival Hunter playstyle. On top of that, going from Shadowlands into Dragonflight, I mean, the AoE damage is still the same. It's very, very solid. And I dare say that this might be the year of the spear. In Shadowlands, there was kind of a moment of the spear. There was like a day of the spear, you know? You guys remember when everybody, suddenly the survival hunters were coming into like season 4 of Shadowlands and nobody knew what to do? This truly might be the year of the spear. This thing is really fun, and I know that in a lot of the sort of ratings, Mythic Plus, you know, Raider.io ratings or whatever, Survival Hunter's been getting shit on, but that's okay. I promise you, it actually has some good stuff going on here, and you can do a lot of damage. I'll show you in the video in a second. But there's really solid AoE damage, and there's also a lot of good single target damage in the form of Mongoose Bite, getting the extra bonus from Tip the Spear, which used to be a talent that you had to choose between, so you get both of them now. So there's more synergy there in the single target side of things. And then, as I said, there's the more support for single target damage with Spearhead, Deadly Duo, etc. So there's definitely going to be the ability to spec into single target damage or AoE damage, and I think they could be strong in both. Another cool thing about the talent tree for Survival Hunters, they can actually spec right out of their AoE damage. You can get rid of Butchery and Frenzied Strikes, which buffs Butchery. That gives you 2 extra points to pump into single target bonuses on the right side of the tree, or take Flanking Strike, which is another good single target ability as well. So there's actually some flexibility. Lots of talent trees, lots of specs in this game do not have the ability to like get rid of their AoE damage. They just don't get to do that. So Survival Hunter is one of the classes that does, and that's really kind of neat because it means you can really focus your build if you want to. Okay, so that's some cool stuff. Lastly, they have amazing mobility. This, I think, is the most mobile class in the game. I'm going to say it right now. You have Harpoon to go into the enemies. You have Disengage to run away from this. You harpoon in, You disengage out. Your coordinated assault, I can cast it from here. Oh, I need a pet. Coordinated assault, I can go from here. It's another dash. So you have a way to get out. You have 2 ways to get back in with coordinated assault and harpoon. You also have spearhead, which is another charge at the enemy. You also have flanking strike, which is another charge at the enemy. You and your pet leap to the target, dealing damage. So tons of mobility with this class, and on top of that, lots of ranged abilities to help support you when you can't be in melee. And God knows, as melee players, there's lots of times when mechanics will pop up and you really just do need to take a step back. Well, that's okay for Survival Hunter. You have Explosive Shot, you have Serpent Sting, you can throw your bombs, you can press Kill Command from range, you can press Death Shock from range, you can press Kill Shot from range. There are so many things you can do from range, which again makes this melee spec very flexible when it comes to dealing damage. So very, very cool. Now, let's talk about actual synergies in the talent tree right now, because I think this is really important to highlight, and it really talks about kind of the core ideas of what's going on with Survival Hunter. And this is really cool. So number one, there's kind of the Ranger package, and that includes obviously the Ranger over here. This is buffing all of the ranged damage for Survival Hunter. So it starts with serrated shots. Your Serpent Sting and bleed damage goes up by 20%, and then in Execute it goes to 40%. You've got Explosive Shot down here, which is range damage. Excuse me, of course. You have Master Marksman, which has your ranged and melee special attacks can apply a bleed, so that's more ranged bonuses. You have Serpent Sting, which you can cleave with Hydra's Bite for more ranged damage, and you get 20% more Hydra Bite damage here. So now, Serpent Sting does 20% more damage here, 20% more damage here, and then 40% more damage with Ranger. So your Serpent Sting is doing 80% more damage all the time, and then in Execute, it goes up to 100% more damage. So your Serpent Sting's basically doing double damage almost all the time, which is really cool. Really, really interesting. Now, there's also bonuses to bleed damage, as I said, 20 and 40% more bleed damage, which is really good. And then there's buffs to Explosive Shot and Kill Shot by 40% more. 40% more Kill Shot damage, 40% more Explosive Shot damage. Really, really good ranged kind of bonuses there that are coming in to help support your kit. On top of that, let's talk about the bleed damage in particular, and it all starts with Bloodseeker. This talent is really interesting in the way it's worded. So Kill Command causes the enemy to bleed, which is fine, and then it just says you and your pet get 10% more attack speed for every bleeding enemy nearby, basically. And if you were to read this quickly without thinking about it, you might think, oh, it only applies to Bloodseeker, but that is not true. It applies to any bleed that you can apply to the enemies. So how do we apply bleeds? Bloodseeker's one way. Shrapnel Bomb with Wildfire Infusion. When you throw your Shrapnel Bomb and then press Butchery, it'll put a bleed on the enemies. Master Marksman does a bleed. So here's the Kill Command bleed. You can see I have Bloodseeker, 1 stack of Bloodseeker. Here's Shrapnel Bomb with Butchery. Now I have 5 stacks of Bloodseeker. I have 50% more attack speed right now. That's insane. Now also Master Marksman over here is ticking. Master Marksman's ticking. It's doing another bleed. That will give me more Bloodseekers. I can get Master Marksman just by doing this. Let's see if we get any. There, we've got a Master Marksman there. I'm getting the Frenzy buff here. I have 4 Bloodseekers just from Master Marksman proccing off of my other damage. I have 50% and more attack speed right now. I don't even have to throw my Shrapnel Bomb. I can just get the Master Marksman proc, which will put an additional bleed on enemies, and that is going to do the trick right there. So those are all the different ways you can... there's a couple different ways. Sorry, there's Kill Shot during Coordinated Assault. So because of Coordinated Kill, your Kill Shot will be able to be used against any enemy, and with Coordinated Assault, your Kill Shot bleeds enemies for 50%. Now, if you also run Birds of Prey, your Kill Shot will cleave to 3 additional targets. So 4 targets in total will be bleeding with your Kill Shot that you're firing, which means you'll have 40% attack speed from that as well. Finally, there's Steel Trap, which is just a single target thing, but you could get another bleed buff from this. So what I'm trying to say there is that basically there's tons of ways to bleed the enemy, and all those bleeds will funnel into Bloodseeker giving you crazy amounts of attack speed, which is really, really good and important to understand what attack speed does for you. It doesn't like lower your GCD or anything, but here's what it does. Fury of the Eagle, for example, scales off of attack speed. So my Fury of the Eagle is a 3-second channel, 3.5-second channel. That's a long-ass channel. But if I put a bleed on everybody, and then I press Fury of the Eagle, watch how fast it goes. 1, 2, it was like barely 3 seconds there. So it gets faster because I have the Bloodseeker buff going, okay? So very, very cool. You can modify some of your other abilities with the attack speed bonus, okay? So that's the second one. The first one was all the ranger damage that we got. The second one is going to be this amazing Bloodseeker combination with all the other bleeds in your kit. Number 3 is going to be Fury of the Eagle. We need to understand what this ability does, and it's very, very cool what it does. It hits everybody in front of you, so it's uncapped AoE. It is reduced beyond 5 targets, remember that. Critical strike chances increased by 50% against enemies that are below 50% health. That's based on my Ruthless Marauder talents that I've only put 2 into. So it gets massively increased crits based on the health of the enemy that you're hitting. If you do score a critical strike with Fury of the Eagle, it will reduce the cooldown of your wildfire bombs. That was a great little disengage there. It will reduce the cooldown of your wildfire bombs. So it synergizes really, really well with a wildfire playstyle. Watch this. I'm going to throw my shrapnel bomb and then my other bomb. Then I'm going to press Fury of the Eagle. Watch the cooldown on wildfire bomb. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6, 5. We got down to 5 there. Now, that's the worst case scenario, is when all the enemies are at max HP. Because as this says, critical strike chances increase by 50% against any target below 50% health. So we weren't even gaining the benefit of that with that little test right there. So just keep that in mind. This gets massively increased critical strike chance the lower your enemy's health threshold is. And if it does crit, it brings back your wildfire bombs. So you can go bomb, bomb, Fury of the Eagle, and you'll get your wildfire bombs back. Because by the time you're pressing Fury of the Eagle, the enemy's health threshold will likely be close to 50%. That's what you're aiming for, okay? On top of that, Kill Command cooldown resets reduce the cooldown of Fury of the Eagle. That's a very complicated sentence. What does that mean? Well, Kill Command always has a chance to reset itself. When it does reset itself, your Fury of the Eagle will cool down. This is particularly potent when you have the Pheromone Bomb up. I want to show you something that's really cool. Watch this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to Fury of the Eagle first, just to show how this works, okay? Then I'm going to throw my Pheromone Bomb. Then we're going to press Kill Command. Watch this. 37, 33, 29, 24, 23. We got it down to 20 seconds. That's a 45-second cooldown. We just carved 20 seconds off of that. Now, you could also continue to just get lucky with regular kill commands, which have a very high chance of resetting themselves. You could just get lucky. But with the Pheromone Bomb, you are guaranteed to reduce the cooldown of Fury of the Eagle, which is very interesting. So there, I realize I was overcapping focus there. It's not the right play. It's not what you want to be doing. But there is something there where you could essentially get the cooldown of Fury of the Eagle back often, over and over and over again, keep getting it back, and that's really, really cool. So not only does Fury of the Eagle reset the cooldown of your wildfire bombs, but then your kill commands reset the cooldown of Fury of the Eagle. So it's this cycle where you're just reducing the cooldown on everything over and over again, which is really, really cool. I like it a lot. So I love that little interaction. That's if you're running Wildfire Infusion. You have to be running Wildfire Infusion, of course, to make that work. On the spec side on the class side of things, there is a lot of utility as well. Really quickly, the only real problem for Survival Hunter is actually their survivability, which is just a hunter problem in general. You do have Survival of the Fittest now, which is a good 2-minute DR. You get it. You get Camouflage, which gives you health back outside of combat, and then of course you're getting Exhilaration healing with all the buffs to that. It's okay. It's not great. You still have Turtle as well. You basically need to utilize your mobility and your like traps. You know, like Freezing Trap and Tar Trap and Binding Shot. You need to utilize these kinds of things. But in a straight-up fight where, like, you're taking rot damage, Hunter is miserable. It's very rough for Hunter. That's just the way it is. So, unfortunately, that's kind of the truth of it. So, those are some of the big synergies that I just wanted to mention. The Ranger damage, all the bleed stuff with Bloodseeker, all the cool stuff with Fury of the Eagle. The Coordinated Assault thing is the last one I want to talk about. You get to choose how you want the synergies to work here. So, you can do the Bombardier build, which is very similar to the legendary Bombardier tier set bonus that we were getting, combination plus tier set that we were getting in Shadowlands. It's a little bit more streamlined now, and I think it's a lot better. Basically, when you pop Coordinated Assault, you're going to get 2 charges of bombs. So you want to throw all of your bombs first, then pop Coordinated Assault, then go crazy with your bombs during the Coordinated Assault window, and then at the very end of the Coordinated Assault window, when it's about to go off cooldown, you want to make sure you use your bombs up again because you're going to get 2 more back. So very, very interesting stuff there. Or you can go Birds of Prey, which again is the kill shot thing. I'm going to experiment with Birds of Prey in a different video. I'm going to show you the rotation for the Bombardier build right now. So this setup that I have is kind of a Ranger Bombardier hybrid because Fury of the Eagle reduces the cooldown of your bombs. Bombardier reduces the cooldown of your bombs. And then on top of that, we have a bunch of ranged damage with Serpent Sting and Bleeds and Explosive Shot. So that's the combo here. Range damage and Bombardier stuff. And it's really, really good for AoE. I'm going to show you a really quick rotation, and then I'll get into the video where I run this rotation. So my pet is all screwed up right now. He's driving me crazy. Here's what we're going to do. This build, it requires a lot of reaction. Wildfire Infusion just requires a reaction from you in terms of which bomb's coming up next. So just keep that in mind. We're going to start with like Explosive Shot into our bombs, get our bleeds going, and then I'm going to pop Fury of the Eagle after. Okay? So here we go. We're going to go like this, and then we're going to go like this. First bomb. This is the shrapnel bomb, so we want to bleed, 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 bleed. Okay? Then we're going to pop this. Then we have one more bomb to go. Then we do Fury of the Eagle. It's going to give us our bombs back, okay, which is really good. One more of this. Then we go here. Then we go Coordinated Assault. We get our bombs back once again. We haven't got a single Pheromone Bomb, which is kind of annoying, but there we go. Okay, then we'll go Pheromone Bomb. You're just pressing bombs like crazy. Now we go this bomb here. We're going to press Explosive Shot. Kill Shot because it's off cooldown. The Coordinated Assault does give you your Kill Shot off cooldown as well. Now we got all of our bombs back at the very end. I have 2 more charges again. Okay, insane how many bombs we got to throw there. Like really, really crazy. And all the while we've had 50% attack speed. And our Fury of the Eagle is back, and our bomb is back. You just cycle between Fury of the Eagle and bombs and bombs and bombs and bombs and bombs. And the damage is really, really good. Remember, my item level's not that great yet right now, but there's Shrapnel Bomb doing tons of damage on its own. Butchery does tons of damage on its own. Fury of the Eagle, really, really good. There's Explosive Shot. You can see there's a lot of different dots happening here as well. There's Master Marksman. There's the internal bleeding dot from our Shrapnel. That's because we used Butchery to get that dot going. So there's a lot of different damage sources going on here. It's pretty cool. And that's kind of how the crux of how that build works. I'm going to do a full breakdown guide on that build in a different video. I want to just get to some really cool footage here to show you guys how explosive this build can be in real Mythic Plus. So I'm getting all my Serpent Stings out, and now I'm throwing my bombs. Unfortunately, I get put to sleep here in a minute. I pop Coordinated Assault, and I get some bleeds going with the Shrapnel Bomb. Then I refresh all of my Serpent Stings with the Green Bomb. That's what the Green Bomb does, by the way. It throws out a bunch of Serpent Stings. Even if you already have Serpent Stings out already, then the Green Bomb will do a bunch of extra damage. It's called the Volatile Bomb. So it'll do extra fire damage if you have enemies with Serpent Stings already. And then on top of that, it will reapply Serpent Sting on up to 3 targets. So a very efficient bomb, the green one is. And then obviously the blue Shrapnel Bomb is just doing tons of bleed damage once you start hitting it with Butchery. Here's another example. This is me. Again, I'm only at like 45 item level. And we get over 100k DPS here. This is crazy. I actually make a critical mistake. Watch this. So here comes the Shrapnel Bomb is on, and I'm channeling Fury of the Eagle right now. Look at the damage popping from Fury of the Eagle. 104k. I make a critical mistake right here of pressing Coordinated Assault. I forgot for a second that Coordinated Assault launches you back in at your enemy. So I get launched on top of the Disorient Pod. I would have been doing 120, 130k here if I was able to not get disoriented there, but unfortunately I screwed it up so hard. But in these kinds of big, juicy packs, this is exactly what you want as a survival hunter. It is so disgusting how much damage you can put out in these fights. And like, this is not at high item level. If I was at if I was at like 400 item level, which everybody's at right now, like 410, 405 right now, I would be doing easily 200k in these packs. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So much damage coming out of this thing. Back up to 80k. Here's Fury of the Eagle again. Fury of the Eagle is so much fun to press. And if I could say a couple things about Survival Hunter at the end here, we'll get to this final pack. Let me skip past this, actually, and then we'll... But again, I'm doing 70k, like, for free. First and foremost, Survival Hunter is just really fun to play again. It's really fun to play. Fury of the Eagle feels fantastic. Explosive Shot going off feels fantastic. Having to think about the bombs and which bombs coming up next feels fantastic. Do I get to refresh my Serpent Stings? Am I working towards a bleed window with Shrapnel Bomb? Am I getting a Pheromone window? And if I am, should I just press Kill Command a bunch of times to cool down my Fury of the Eagle? Is that the right play here? I don't know. I have to think about it. I love having specs that I have to seriously think about when I'm playing them. That is a really fun thing as well. I also think there's going to be multiple builds. In this build that I'm running in this dungeon and in the Ranger Bombardier build in general, I am not running Alpha Predator, which I thought was a mandatory talent on the spec side of things. I thought you were going to have to go down and get Alpha Predator to get 2 charges of Kill Command, but it turns out that there's lots of other builds that do perfectly fine and they don't require you to do that. So I'm really excited to see what different builds can I kind of pull out here. There's a Ranger build. Let me back up a little bit here. We're going to run out of time. There's going to be the Ranger build with the Fury of the Eagle, Wildfire Bomb stuff going on with Bombardier. There's going to be a Birds of Prey build that focuses on kill shot and still has some of the Ranger stuff, but focuses on the kill shots during coordinated assault. That's really cool. There's going to be a single target build with Spearhead somewhere and Flanking Strike. I'm going to have to work on that. I kind of want to incorporate Steel Trap somehow into one of my builds. And then there's going to be a physical bleed build, I think, with like Alpha Predator and lots of kill commands. And then figuring out like which talents synergize really well with lots and lots and lots of kill command resets. Probably Fury of the Eagle, if I'm honest about it. So I'm so excited, guys, to jump into Survival Hunter. I can't tell you how excited I am. It's going to be amazing. Expect lots of videos on Survival Hunter in the coming weeks. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.